This is Mohammed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It's Saturday morning here in Las Vegas. I'm joined by the Haymaker himself, out here for a bit of poker, David.
Yeah, I'm here on a poker mission, and I've got a big poker competition on the 1st of December. Grover Casino's Vic. It's the Haymaker Knockout Series final. I do a weekly online game, which is free to enter, and the winner of all of those tournaments I play in the flesh in some live poker at the Vic for a final. So I'm looking forward to that. I realised, it's not like riding a bike. You don't just get back on it. And in the last couple of weeks, I've been losing every single time I go into a competition in a tournament. So that's why I'm out here. Is every day playing. I was trying to play 5 or 6 hours of poker a day, just trying to get. So come first, I don't play like shit. It's my own tournament. I have to win it somehow. So I've got Audley Harrison gets in today. Obviously, Audley Harrison was in last night. He's gone through to the next round in a big game, I think, at the Venetian. So he's playing well. So he knows a lot more about poker than me. So being around him, he'll get my brain back to where it needs to be to win this poker game on December 1st.
It'll be crazy to see you and Audley reunited. I didn't know that you get on actually. So
yeah, we've been buddies since I was 17. Yeah, so there's a documentary called David versus Goliath on Amazon Prime, and that shows you a lot about me and Audley and how he really helped me in my poker journey over the years. Obviously with the lockdown happening, there wasn't no live poker. I like live poker. Online poker I struggle with. I like to physically see people and to really get a good read for someone, look into a man's eyes and then go all in and see. That's what I like. But yeah, Audley's definitely a good teacher, so I'm looking forward to spending some time with him. Yeah.
Have you improved anyway since kind of you first started on? You must have.
What's that?
Your poker game.
I'm terrible compared to how I was a year and a half ago. Yeah. Because I like live poker. I like playing poker. I used to play a lot more poker down at my gym, but I've stopped doing it over lockdown. I stopped it, and I kind of lost my eye. So it's coming back. I had a small tournament at the Venetian. It was 17 people. I came second. So they were a real basic level. It wasn't a good level, but I just need to keep playing more and more. So.
Done any training recently?
No, done no training. I'm trying to. I'm going to show people how to lose body fat and get into shape. So I'm in a mission. It's been 10 weeks, literally to the day. I had my exhibition bout with my buddy Joe, and I've done no training whatsoever, and just eaten whatever everybody else has been ordering. And so I've had no diet, no training, and to see what happens to the human body when you don't have a structure. I have not strict, but it's quite strict. I eat in certain windows. I eat certain foods. I don't eat other foods. I'm really low on sugar and carbs and stuff. So it's amazing what differences happens to your body when you just go with what everyone else does. And so I've been documenting all of that. So you'll see that in the next. I was supposed to do it to the end of the year. I can't keep doing it. I feel like I'm going to die. I feel terrible. So I've got another couple of weeks to the end of December. Then I'll start showing exactly what is required to get yourself into. You should do it as well.
I don't know about that.
You got to get into a healthy routine, rhythm, to get the best out of yourself.
Oh, a healthy routine. Yeah. I thought, but you've been eating junk, haven't you? So.
Yeah, that's because I want to show that eating junk has a detrimental effect on your body. So when you do start eating clean, you see the vast change.
How big are we going to go?
I don't know. I'm not getting as big as I thought I was going to go, but I haven't been forcing it down. I don't really have a big appetite. So I don't know. I'll probably put 10-15% body fat on, which said that it's quite a bit. And I lost some muscle. So it's horrible. I feel terrible. Really, really bad.
So you've been out here in Vegas playing poker and eating rubbish?
Eating rubbish. Yeah, doing zero exercise. Like everybody else. I talk to everyone else. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? That's just how we live our lives out here. So not feeling the best. Not feeling beach worthy.
Anything else going on in Vegas for you?
I was enjoying what it has to bring. Went down to see Porter going for his final preparations a few days ago. Looked super sharp. his dad Kenny really on it. I really liked what I saw. I just sort of stood back and just watched them do their training session, and all the hard training's done. It was just the fine tuning that I really liked, and a lot of the stuff that I've seen him do in fights, I thought it was just kind of his style, but a lot of the things he does that you wouldn't realise are rehearsed. So when he comes from side to side, he throws his body shots up the middle, you think he kind of just falls into that position. No, it's something that he works on, and he's trying to box you off. It was really nice to see the communication between him and his father be so neat and tidy, and it seems like they know what they're in for. They know this is no cakewalk, and it's going to be a battle. And that's really kept me excited. Knowing this fight's tonight, right? Yeah. It's a big one to see that. Crawford, is up at everyone's pound for pound list. So to justify his pound for pound position, he'd need a very conclusive victory against Showtime Sean Porter, and Sean Porter isn't going to want to give him that. He's going to want to give him his hardest night ever. I see the fight a little bit like when Leonard fought Duran. Leonard wanted to prove that he could fight as well as box. Is Crawford going to want to show that is his ego going to get in the way, and is he going to say, okay, look, I can work, I can stand with you, I can go toe to toe with you if needs be. If he does that, then great. You'd assume he'd want to keep it long and use his long range boxing skills. But Porter can punch at long range, and when he gets into range, he's a real handful for anyone. Ugas, when he put the heat on him, Spence, he's a problem for anyone, and this is where we'll see whether the pound for pound billing is justified with Crawford.
Well, we'll see if any of your predictions are right. This will go out tomorrow anyways, because it's like 5 or 6 in the UK Saturday night, so we're going to put this out on Sunday, see if those outcomes come true. Let me ask you about the WBC convention we just had. So the two major talking points were about Dillian Whyte and Canelo. We'll start with Dillian Whyte. We expected that fight to be ordered with him and Tyson Fury. It hasn't. What was your reaction when you found out that news, David?
I always thought it was strange that I was aware that there was some litigation with the WBC from Dillian Whyte's behalf because he didn't get his mandatory for so long, and then obviously when everyone's expecting it to be announced, they say, well, you're not going to be mandatory until you drop the charges or whatever. I'm not sure what exactly was said. So what's he going to do? So it's down to him. If he wants to fight for the prestigious WBC title, he can't fight for someone's title and try and sue him at the same time. You can understand it from their point of view. I understand he should have got his title shot a long time ago, and he hasn't. So I think that's just down to him and his team just making sure they make the right. I don't know all the details of anything. I can only know what I see from the outside. But I hope they can get it. I hope they can get it all wrapped up. I definitely think out of all the heavyweights on the planet who deserve a world title shot, who's done any more than Dillian Whyte to deserve it? He's, time after time, he fights from the Rivas to Povetkin. He's just always he's in there. So I hope he gets his shot.
If it isn't Dillian Whyte, because now they've got to make that fight rather than it being ordered, which I just feel like is unlikely, who is there for Tyson Fury?
Whoever the fans want to see him fight. I say he's in a unique position where he's considered by pretty much all the experts as the number one in the division. He now doesn't have a mandatory, it appears, so he's a free agent kind of to do what he wants right now. So whoever the fans want him to fight, he should fight.
Who do you want to see him in with? Yourself?
I don't know if he wants to do that, it could be talked about. But he wants the Usyk fight. I'm pretty sure he's got doesn't win anything by fighting me. If he can win the WBA, WBO, the IBF, and that's what he wants. He wants to add the belts to his collection. So he's going to want to go. He wants to unify the belt. I'm pretty sure. Although he is considered number one, I'm not sure what's happening with the Anthony Joshua.
That's going to happen. So if we rule out Joshua and Usyk for the time being, commercially, out there? What is there for Tyson Fury?
He can't really fight Wilder again. We've seen that one. Whoever the fans want to see him fight. There's not that many names out there.
Joe Joyce?
Joe Joyce is a handful. He's worked his way up the rankings as well. You know, he's at the right age. You know, he's older than. He's actually a few years older than. So I think definitely Joe Joyce would be great. You know, Dylan Whyte, he has to somehow find a way to get his legal affairs in order so he can get that opportunity. Can you imagine that after all this time, finally gets the opportunity, and because of something else that sort of scarpers that opportunity, which would be a big shame. But yeah, it's not that deep right now.
What do you think of John Fury's offer about fighting you?
No, as I said, I'm retired. The only person I'd come back for is the number one. If all of a sudden Tyson Fury was like, yeah, want to fight Dave, we've got some unfinished business since 2013, there isn't any other heavyweights out there, then yeah, I'd definitely consider it for sure. But
how many pay-per-view buys do you think that does, you and Fury?
More than anyone else. But it gets to a point where it's not even. It gets to a point maybe where it's not about. You know, is it not about the money at some stage? Or maybe he's earned very good dough over the last few years. Big fights with Wilder. You know, everybody obviously still wants although Anthony Joshua's lost, that's the big one. That's still the big one that makes the most amount of money. And obviously there's lots of people on percentages here and there, and they all want the biggest possible fight, obviously. So, yeah. I don't know, what was the question?
I said about John Fury's offer to fight you.
Nah, yeah, he's. I like John Fury. I like him. But maybe he's trying to get in the way. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe genuinely. I saw an interview of him where he seemed really vocal about me not fighting his son, Tyson. So maybe he sees something in me that he doesn't want in with his son. Maybe that's why he's trying to distract from me fighting his son. Maybe because the only attribute required, I believe, to beat Tyson Fury is, you know, quick feet, overhand right, in and out of range, someone who can see the shots as quick as he can. And the version of me fighting Tony Bellew wasn't that guy by any stretch. But if there was a way to fatten myself up, maybe this new diet of mine. I can feel some of the Fury magic around my stomach at the moment from eating all them pizzas. So maybe I'll go into the gym and maybe I'll start feeling a bit Fury-like.
What have you made of Anthony Joshua coming out here, speaking to various trainers, Robert Garcia, Virgil Hunter, Eddie Reynoso, Ronnie Shields, suggestions he might leave Ron McCracken for this Usyk rematch? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think he needs a new trainer. I don't think the reason why he lost against Usyk was to do with his trainers or his conditioning coaches or anything other than, I think it's an intent thing. It didn't appear as though he was intent to knock him out. It was like he was trying to box his way to victory, which there's nothing wrong with boxing. It's worked for him in his last couple of fights. Again, prior to this one, the Pulev fight, he kind of boxed to it and broke him down with a jab and took him out. And the one prior to that, the rematch against Andy Ruiz Jr., that one, maybe he just got into a boxing mode where he thought, I just got a box. You remember he had a short-ish amateur career, but it was at a very, very high level. You know, he was fighting in the World Championship finals, you know, a couple of years after getting into boxing. It's crazy to think how he was fast-tracked. But he was really successful doing it, and did it as a boxer, long-range boxer. So maybe he believes that he's a long-range boxer, and he is from time to time, and that's worked for him great. But there's certain opponents where you've got to kind of change what you do, and I think it's not that original. He just needs to become comfortable in that grinding zone. You know, any clinch that if you watch the clinches that him and Usyk had, it was very friendly. It was like an amateur fight where the referee says break, you step back. He needs to really just get you. He's so big and so strong and so powerful and so athletic. That needs to be implemented in an inside fighting, up close, roughing up the little man, pushing him, pulling him, leaning on him. You should watch how Vladimir Klitschko fought smaller opposition. Watch how Klitschko fought me and fought Povetkin. You know, guys who came into danger, and then he would disarm us, use his superior size, and lean us to drain our energy, to slow us down. It's a real smart move by the big man. Watch Lennox Lewis. What Lennox Lewis did, he would just keep it long. When it got inside, it was really spiteful around the side of the head. Push the boundaries of the rules until you get the referee tells you to calm it down. But the referee didn't have to warn him at all, because it was very much a gentlemanly display of boxing, and that's the opposite. It's the opposite you need with Usyk. You need a full-on fight. You need a full-on rough and tough fight. But he's going to have to take a bit of punishment inside that. It's hard to fight that inside fighting without taking something. So, I'm hearing how his sparring was in a lead up to that, it was all very long range boxing. He needs to have 5 or 6 sparring partners, and he's got to start getting these guys out of there. He's got to go into the spar with a mindset to knock the sparring partner out. A lot of people don't like that, but if that's going to be your style in a fight, you have to be physically and mentally prepared to do damage in every exchange. So it's. I'm looking forward to it. But I don't really think he needs anything. Another coach is going to teach him, keep your hand here, leg here. He knows how to fight. He's Olympic gold medalist. He's unified world champion. You know, his boxing. He knows how to jab. He knows how to throw all the punches. It's just an intensity thing to dampen down the skill set of Usyk. Usyk can't do what he does when he's exhausted. So make him exhausted. Then your physical attributes should. And the boxing ability that he does have, which is very good. He literally had a long-range boxing match with Alexander Usyk, arguably one of the best boxers around, and he won a few of the rounds. If someone said that's what they were going to do, you'd have said, yeah, you'd have lost every round. But he didn't. He won a few rounds here and there, so the scores weren't that wide. So how about if he completely exhausted Usyk in the first 3 or 4 rounds? Literally just roughed him up, but trained to go out the blocks like a lunatic. So he knew in round 4 he would get his second win and he would then start keeping the pressure on. That's what I do. Everyone's a genius. Everyone thinks they know what Anthony Joshua would do. I think the only person who really, really knows what Anthony Joshua needs to do is Anthony Joshua himself. No coaches. I think people get too caught up with who else is involved in the game, who else is involved in it. But I just think if he wants to do it, he'll do it. But it all comes from within.
And just to close off, as I said, at the WBC convention, the whole boxing world was talking about Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, I'm speaking to someone who's gone up a weight and won a world title, another weight class again. Canelo's done that, obviously, several times. But a former welterweight, now going up to cruiserweight to fight Olunga Makabu. The WBC have approved that. What do you think of Canelo at cruiserweight?
He's great. He's great at every weight he's fought at so far. And if he is going to try and do the unthinkable, jumping up to cruiserweight, 200 pounds. You know, Makabu is the right guy for him. You know, he's not naturally the biggest guy. You know, he's southpaw. You know, he's been there, done it. He's been stopped before, so he's not unbeatable. And I think he's got a very, very good shot of just, you know, outpointing him. You know, for Makabu to win any of the rounds in this fight, you know, Canelo's so big, so powerful. The machine that he makes hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue for everybody involved. You know, I don't see, unless Makabu knocks him out, you know, that he's going to become the cruiserweight WBC champion also. It's watching him, you know, do his stuff. You know, for me, he's firmly number one, pound for pound. And the fact that he's looking at going up and challenging himself is why he's number one in my opinion. You know, pushing the boundaries. You know, how much weight would he put on to go there? You know, he's 5'8", so he's not the tallest guy in the world, but his skill set, his chin as well. I think his chin could take some cruiserweight stick. But it's an exciting proposition, him moving up to, was that be the fifth five weight world champion then?
Super middleweight, super middleweight, lightweight, fifth one.
Fifth one, wow. Yeah. That's a hell of an achievement at that weight. There's one thing Pacquiao doing it from flyweight up, but to do it from like middleweight all the way to cruiserweight, that's a hell of a feat.
Can you do it at heavyweight?
Not against the modern day. That's something you've got to be sensible about this. You know, against a modern day heavyweight, no. But you know, a small cruiserweight, yeah, for sure. It gets to a stage when someone they're just too big, and I just don't think he has the. I don't know. Would he have the firepower to keep the bigger? Would he have the firepower to keep the WBC cruiserweight champion off him? I don't know. Some will say no. Maybe it's a step too far. But the fact he's willing to put it on the line is why we all love him.
Okay, David Haye, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV out here in Las Vegas.
And also don't forget, this Wednesday, download the Grosvenor Casino poker app, as is a free poker game Wednesday, 8 p.m. It's for the final seat on the table on December 1st. So to download the app, it's free to play, and hopefully you win like $3,000 and a seat at the table, and there's $20,000 to win there. So anybody's into poker, people, get involved.
Let's just pan down on your T-shirt quickly. We've got all the sponsors here. So we've got Grosvenor.
Copy there. Yeah, we've got Skinhead, Bar Plaza, Grosvenor Casino. Yeah. December 1st, I'm out here prepping. I left it too late this time, honestly. It's like trying to do all your sparring 2 weeks before the fight. It's not the best way to do it, but we'll wing it somehow.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, David Haye. Enjoy the rest of your trip in Las Vegas, and hopefully you speak on the channel soon, all right?
Definitely.